The black Mercedes idled at the curb like a sleeping predator, its tinted windows reflecting the neon chaos of Shanghai's financial district. Inside the lobby of the Peninsula Hotel, Sarah Chen clutched her cleaning cart and felt her heart hammering against her ribs. She had 30 seconds, maybe less, before the American millionaire walked through those revolving doors and into a nightmare. Her hands trembled as she abandoned her cart and rushed toward the entrance. The other staff members stared. A housekeeper didn't leave her post, didn't sprint through the marble lobby like her life depended on it. But it wasn't her life she was worried about. It was his. 20 minutes earlier, Sarah had been replacing towels in the executive suite when she'd heard voices in the corridor. Her Mandarin was flawless, a gift from her grandmother who'd raised her in a cramped apartment in Pudong before Sarah's mother remarried and moved them to Queens. She'd learned English in America, but Chinese remained the language of her heart, the tongue she dreamed in. The two men hadn't known she was there, hidden behind the half-open bathroom door. They wore the crisp uniforms of the hotel's private security detail, but their words dripped with malice. "The American pig thinks he's so smart," one hissed in rapid Mandarin. "Chen's men will be waiting at the third checkpoint. The driver knows to take the Bund route." "What about the woman?" the second guard asked. "There is no woman anymore. She transferred the accounts yesterday. Once he's in the car, it's over. They'll find him in the river by morning, another stupid foreigner who drank too much and fell in." Sarah's blood had turned to ice. She'd frozen, her arms full of Egyptian cotton, as the men laughed and walked away. For 10 seconds, maybe 20, she'd stood there paralyzed. Then her body moved before her mind caught up. Now she burst through the revolving doors just as Marcus Whitmore emerged from the elevator bay, phone pressed to his ear, his silver hair catching the light. She'd seen him around the hotel for 3 days. Everyone had. He was hard to miss, tall, confident, wearing suits that cost more than she made in 6 months. He'd been kind to her once, holding a door when her cart got stuck, offering a warm smile that actually reached his eyes. "Mr. Whitmore." She grabbed his arm, her voice urgent and low. He lowered his phone, surprise flickering across his features. "Yes?" "Don't get in that car." The words tumbled out in a desperate rush. "Please, you have to trust me." "Don't get in the Mercedes." He glanced toward the curb where the driver stood at attention, then back at Sarah, his expression shifting from surprise to polite confusion. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" "I'm Sarah, I clean the executive floor." "Sir, I heard the guards talking. In Chinese. They think I don't understand, but I do." She was speaking so fast the words blurred together. "They're going to hurt you." "The driver is part of it. They mentioned someone named Chen and—" "Chen?" Marcus's face went rigid. "Chen Zhao? I don't know his full name, but they said his men would be waiting. Something about accounts being transferred, about the river." Her voice cracked. "Please, I know how this sounds. I know you have no reason to believe me, but something terrible is going to happen if you get in that car." Marcus stared at her for 3 heartbeats. Around them, the lobby bustled with oblivious guests and staff. The driver by the curb checked his watch. One of the guards from earlier appeared at the far end of the lobby, scanning the crowd. "Come with me," Marcus said suddenly, gripping her elbow and steering her toward the hotel's business center. Once inside, he shut the door and turned to her with laser focus. "Tell me exactly what you heard." "Every word." Sarah recounted the conversation, her voice steadier now. As she spoke, she watched Marcus's expression transform from skepticism to grim understanding. "Chen Zhao is my business partner," he said quietly. "Or he was. I discovered yesterday that he's been embezzling from our joint ventures. Millions of dollars funneled into offshore accounts. I confronted him this morning, told him I was going to the authorities." He ran a hand through his hair. "He said he'd make it right, that we'd discuss it tonight at his estate." "He sent that car to take me there." "It's a trap," Sarah whispered. "Yes." Marcus pulled out his phone with shaking hands. "Because of you, I know that now." He looked at her with something like awe. "You risked your job to warn me. You could have stayed silent, stayed safe." Sarah shook her head. "I couldn't. My grandmother used to say that silence in the face of wrong makes you part of the wrong. I had to—" Her voice broke. "I lost her last year. She taught me that we're all responsible for each other, that kindness isn't about what's easy, it's about what's right. For the next hour, chaos erupted in controlled bursts. Marcus called contacts at the American consulate. Police arrived discreetly at the hotel's service entrance. The driver and both guards were quietly detained. By evening, Chen Zhao and 4 accomplices were in custody. Sarah sat in the hotel manager's office, exhausted and terrified about her future. She'd caused a scene, abandoned her post, made wild accusations. Surely she'd be fired. The door opened. Marcus walked in, followed by the hotel's general manager. "Ms. Chen," the manager said formally, "Mr. Whitmore has explained everything. The police have confirmed your account. You potentially saved his life." Sarah started. "No," Marcus interrupted gently. "Don't minimize what you did. You saw something wrong and you acted even though it could have cost you everything." He paused. "I've spoken with the manager here. They're promoting you to the guest services team. Better hours, better pay. But I'm hoping that's temporary." Sarah blinked. "Temporary? My company needs someone in our Shanghai office I can trust absolutely. Someone who understands both cultures, who has integrity, who acts without hesitation when it matters." Marcus smiled. "The position starts at $80,000 USD annually, with benefits and relocation assistance if you want to move back to the States eventually." The room spun. Sarah gripped the chair. I'm just a housekeeper." "You're a woman who risked everything for a stranger," Marcus said. "That's the rarest quality in the world. Everything else, you can learn." 3 months later, Sarah sat in her new office overlooking the Huangpu River, the same river where she'd saved a man from disappearing forever. On her desk was a photo of her grandmother, whose lessons about humanity had traveled across an ocean and through the years to create this impossible moment. She thought about how one choice, one moment of courage, had changed everything. How speaking up when silence would have been easier had transformed not just her life, but someone else's life too. And she understood then what her grandmother had always known, that we're all connected by invisible threads of responsibility and compassion, and that sometimes the bravest thing we can do is pull on those threads, even when our hands are shaking. Outside her window, the city glittered with possibility for those brave enough to reach for it.